in the first fight on the fight card. We have a really good light heavyweight fight right here. Guys, we have Emiliano Sordi and Chris Kamazi. This fight is a light heavyweight fight. Emiliano Sordi just won the $1 million 2 years ago. The man is an absolutely amazing striker. Really good clinch work as well. A pretty big favorite right there. Almost at minus 400 as a humongous favorite to win the fight. 30 years old in the prime of his MMA career. Same height and same reach from both fighters in the fight. Chris Kamazi, very good kickboxing skills. 25 wins and 14 losses. Has been fighting for absolutely forever, since 2006. 7 knockout wins, 8 submission wins, and 11 decision wins on his record. Both fighters have very good striking for sure. But you look right here, Emiliano Sordi is probably going to be a kickboxer and a jiu-jitsu guy, very strong in the clinch as well. A really good straight jab to straight right. He's very powerful as well. If you look at how many of his wins are coming by knockout, how many of his wins are coming by decision, and how many of his wins are coming by submission. I mean, 1 decision win, 7 submission wins, and 14 knockout wins. Only 1 fight going all the way, which is just absolutely insane. He has really good pressure shots against the cage. He backs you up, and once you don't really know what you're supposed to do, and your back is against the cage, that is where Emiliano just starts unleashing the power with his jab and straight right, and he lays a lot of really good shots in the clinch right there when your back is to the cage. Really good movement. I mean, he doesn't really get hit all too much because he has a really good movement, really good takedown defense as well. Loves to get his opponent back to the cage and jab to uppercut as well for sure. Very powerful straight right hand. Once he lands you onto the feet, he has a really good ground and pound, gets you down, and his ground and pound is vicious, man. Also has some pretty decent submission skills, but ultimately, if he gets you down, he's trying to ground and pound you, and he's trying to get the TKO win. Also has a very tight guillotine. He doesn't really use it to try to get the guillotine submission. He uses it to try to get the fight back up on the feet and make it more of a kickboxing fight. Very good trip takedowns against the cage. That is what he gets. That is the main way he gets the takedowns and gets you down to try and ground and pound you and finish the fight on the ground. And has a decent submission game as well, mainly consisting of rear naked choke submissions and guillotine choke submissions. Chris Kamazi definitely going to be a kickboxer as well. Had a couple of fights over there in Glory and Kickboxing right here. Yeah, a couple of fights over there in Glory Kickboxing, but very good kickboxing. A little bit of an older fighter here at 34 years old, but a lot of experience with almost 40 fights on his professional MMA record. He's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a lot of finishes coming by submission. He likes to keep the fight in the striking realm, trying to keep the fight at range, laying a lot of good leg kicks, a lot of good jabs, and a lot of good right hands. Most of his strikes are not looping punches. They're pretty much every single one of his strikes are pretty much straight punches. He doesn't like to do looping punches because that's gonna leave him open to getting shots from a guy like an absolute beast, an Emiliano Sordi. I think in the fight, ultimately, Emiliano Sordi will have the striking advantage, will have the grappling advantage, and will have the wrestling and strength advantage over Chris Kamazi. The main way I see Chris Kamazi going out there and winning the fight would probably be to win the fight at range. It's going to be really hard with a guy like Emiliano Sordi, who has really good head movement, really good movement around the cage, and he just stalks you down until you give his back to the cage, and he's just going to pressure you and pressure you and pressure you. And with that 1-2, I mean, his right hand is so powerful. There is a big weakness from Chris Kamazi. When his back is to the cage, his hands are right here. He doesn't have his hands right here, which is going to be a humongous disadvantage for a guy like Chris Kamazi, especially when he's going against a guy like Emiliano Sordi, who is so powerful, and he thrives in that clinch situation with that 1-2, with that big straight right hand. So that is definitely going to be a disadvantage for Chris Kamazi in the fight. But overall, I think Emiliano Sordi is the better striker, the better kickboxer, the better boxer, better kicks. I mean, pretty much everywhere you look at the fight, the grappling, the wrestling, wherever you look at the fight, in my opinion, Emiliano Sordi is the better fighter. He's the stronger fighter, the more powerful fighter, the faster fighter. Pretty much every single thing, in my opinion, is going towards Emiliano Sordi to win the fight. And pretty much everyone looking at this fight is saying the fight most likely will be a knockout. If you look at how Chris Kamazi loses his professional MMA fights, only 1 fight by knockout. So that is the main reason I say the fight will go all the way. I think there is definitely a big possibility that Emiliano Sordi goes out there and gets a knockout in the first or second round, but in my opinion, Dang it. I don't know, man, because Emiliano Sordi also has pretty much every single one of his wins coming by KO TKO. So in my opinion, I think either it's going to be a first round knockout win with a straight right hand, followed by ground and pound, and get the TKO in the first or second round, or he just dominates the fight in the clinch and in the striking realm and wins the fight by 30-27 unanimous decision. So overall, my prediction for Emiliano Sordi and Chris Kamazi is Emiliano Sordi to win the fight by first or second round knockout, or win the fight in a dominant striking show by 30-27 unanimous decision. It should be a really, really good fight in the first fight of the main card of PFL #2 2021 regular season. Should be a really, really good striking fight between those two guys right there. And then after that, guys, we have two grapplers in a welterweight fight right here. Joao Severino and Gleison Tibau. I mean, they're both going to be grapplers 100% in the welterweight division. One advantage that Joao Severino will be having in the fight is Gleison Tibau is taking the fight on short notice, moving on from the lightweight division to the welterweight division. Joao Severino is a little bit younger, a little bit taller, and a little bit of a reach advantage in the striking game as well. So a lot of advantages going to Joao Severino. He's shown to have really, really good leg lock submissions and really, really good rear naked choke submissions. 24 wins and only 9 losses. You look over here, rear naked choke submission, heel hook, rear naked, heel hook submission. I mean, those are the main ways he gets you down and tries to submit you with a heel hook or with a rear naked choke submission. You go down here, I mean, 16 submission wins, 4 knockout wins, and 4 decision wins, and never being submitted in his professional MMA career. Absolutely insane. Gleison Tibau, 34 wins and 14 losses. Also, has very, very good submission skills and really good wrestling as well, with 13 submission wins and 17 decision wins. He was probably the closest guy to ever be able to beat Khabib Nurmagomedov in a really, really close fight right there. A lot of people think that he had a chance of winning the fight, considering these strikes were very, very even, but overall he did end up losing the fight by unanimous decision. But you look down here, I mean, both fighters are gonna be grapplers. That is 100%. The striking advantage, in my opinion, will probably be going to Joao Severino, considering he will be having the high end reach advantage in the fight and is a little bit faster of a striker. The one that I give the advantage to, the power advantage, would probably be Gleison Tibau. He has a little bit more of a chance to get a knockout in the fight, but overall, who's gonna be landing the more shots in the striking game will most likely be Joao Severino. They both have very, very good wrestling. Joao Severino and Gleison Tibau are very, very strong in the clinch and in the wrestling and grappling game. This ultimately who has the better wrestling and who has the better grappling. Ultimately, I don't think the fight will be spent in the grappling game. I think ultimately this fight will be a clinch-based game, considering Gleison Tibau has a 93% takedown defense inside of the UFC, lands 4 takedowns each and every fight inside the UFC, and only has 4 submissions inside the UFC, which is very surprising. He has very good submission skills, really good wrestling as well. I think overall, because of this, the takedown defense of Gleison Tibau, I think overall the fight will mainly be spent in the clinch and in the striking realm of the fight. I think overall Joao Severino is better in the clinch with really good knees and really good body shots and a really good right hand in the clinch. So overall, if the fight stays in the clinch, Joao Severino will have the advantage. If the fight stays in the striking realm of things, I think Joao Severino will have the advantage and the grappling and wrestling advantage. Honestly, I'm not really too sure who's going to have the advantage, but considering Joao Severino has shown to have a really, really good wrestling, I believe landing like 10 takedowns in his last 3 fights inside of the PFL. I think he will go out there and have the wrestling advantage, have the grappling advantage, have the clinch advantage, have the striking advantage. Everywhere I look at the fight, Joao Severino will have the advantage. So overall, I will be going with the slight favor. In my opinion, I don't really agree with the betting odds at minus 350. Absolutely insane. In my opinion, Joao Severino is a very, very slight favorite to win the fight, and I ultimately have him winning the fight by 29-28 unanimous decision. After that, guys, we have a domination 100%. Ray Cooper III and Jason Pontier. I mean, Ray Cooper III, the man's an absolute beast. 20 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw. A minus 600 favorite, only 28 years old. A little bit smaller, a little bit less of a reach than Jason Pontier. But the man's got power. The man has ground and pound, and the man has a really, really good wrestling. He's so strong. He's so relentless. It's either he gets a knockout, he gets a submission, he gets a TKO, or he himself himself ends up getting knocked out. I mean, he's just an absolutely amazing, powerful puncher. 14 knockout wins, 6 submission wins, and out of his losses, only 1 fight going all the way. Pretty much every single one of his fights not going all the way. They're either ending in the first, second, or third round by KO, TKO, or submission. Jason Monette, I don't really know much about him. I've watched a couple of his fights inside of ACB, and he hasn't really looked too good. I watched a fight with Chris Fishgold. His takedown defense was honestly not too good. Most of his losses are coming by submission. You look right here. 10 submission losses and 2 decision losses, going against a guy like Ray Cooper III, who is really, really good wrestling. If Ray Cooper III gets him down, I think he's going to dominate him. Just go for ground and pound over and over and over again. And Jason Monette will ultimately give the bag to Ray Cooper III and get a rear naked choke submission. I don't really see much avenues for Jason Monette to win the fight, because Ray Cooper III is the better wrestler, the better striker, the more powerful striker, the faster striker. I mean, you look right here. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see right here. The 4th fastest puncher in the PFL of all time, 27, I believe, mile-per-hour punches. I mean, that is absolutely insane. The man is an absolute beast for sure. 48 takedowns inside of the PFL, which is absolutely insane. I mean, pretty much every single one of his fights being a finish. Very, very powerful right hook. I really don't see much of an opportunity for Jason Monette to win the fight. Maybe he uses his height and he uses that reach to make it a range game and win the fight by decision. I don't really know. I just don't see much of any avenues for Jason Monette to win the fight. Overall, Ray Cooper III in the striking game is gonna knock him out. In the clinch game is gonna knock him out, and in the grappling and wrestling game is gonna knock him out. I mean, 100%, wherever the fight goes, Ray Cooper III is gonna dominate the fight. So 100%, I have Ray Cooper III going out there, dominating the fight in the striking game, dominating the fight in the clinch game, dominating the fight in the wrestling game, in the grappling game. Wherever you look at this fight, I have Ray Cooper winning the fight. So I'm definitely going with the, oh my god, -600 favorite in Ray Cooper III to go out there and dominate the fight and get a KO or TKO win in the very first round. I mean, Ray Cooper III is an absolute beast. Every single win coming by finish, and I think this one is also going to be another finish for Ray Cooper III. So first or second round KO or TKO win for Ray Cooper III in the fight. The man's an absolute beast, but after that, guys, we have an amazing welterweight fight in the main event. And guess what, guys? This is a short notice main event between Rory Mcdonald and Curtis Molina. Rory Mcdonald was supposed to be fighting, I believe, let's see, David Machad. And I believe he would have won that fight against David Machad. But now, on short notice, Curtis Molina coming after he lost inside of Bellator to Saba Homasi. I mean, oh my god, losing to Saba Homasi. Not really too good of a look for a guy like Curtis Molina. He's very tall and very lengthy, a 2-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage in the fight. A little bit older, Rory Mcdonald is going to have the power advantage in my opinion. The wrestling advantage, the submission advantage, the clinch advantage, everywhere you look at the fight, except for maybe at range. Rory Mcdonald will have the advantage, and in the clinch, the only real weakness from Rory Mcdonald is the knees right down the middle from Curtis Molina, because he's a very tall, lengthy fighter, really good head kicks as well, and really good body kicks as well. The Rory Mcdonald, a humongous favorite at -515, only 31.5 years old, 21 wins, 6 losses, and 1 draw. Every single one of his wins, 7 knockout wins, 7 submission wins, and then I believe 7 decision wins. I mean, it's spread out between KO, submission, and decision. Out of his losses right here, 3 knockout losses and 3 decision losses. The man is an absolute beast, a really good striking, really good grappling. Everywhere you look at him, he's just an absolute beast. But Rory Mcdonald has very good takedown defense, 90% takedown defense, and lands pretty much 2 takedowns every single one of his fights inside of the UFC. Really good striking, very good power in his hands, and a really good body shot. I mean, his straight right hand is just so powerful. He uses wrestling a lot, gets you down, and he ground and pounds the heck out of you every single time he goes out there. Gets 2, maybe 3 takedowns, gets you down, and ground and pounds you the entire round. And in the striking game, that right hand is going to be really good for Rory Mcdonald in the fight. You look right here, boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, Muay Thai. He's pretty much a beast. Everywhere you look at this man, he's so good at in the boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, in wrestling, and Muay Thai. He's good in every facet of the game. Curtis Molina, his takedown defense is okay, probably around 50%. But in this fight, Rory Mcdonald is going to go out there, and he's probably going to land 3 to 4 takedowns in the fight. I don't really see Curtis Molina defending much of the takedowns. If he does defend the takedowns, overall, he's still going to be caught in the clinch situations where Rory Mcdonald will have the advantage there. He's very long and a very lengthy fighter, opening up some of those shots like the leg kicks, the head kicks, the body kicks, the knees, the flying knees, all those crazy shots from Curtis Molina are going to be very, very open for him in this fight. Lots of leg kicks as well, very good uppercuts in the clinch as well, but he's not really too good against the rushing attacks. In this fight, Rory Mcdonald, if he just rushes towards him, goes for a jab, a right hand, then another jab, and then goes for the double leg takedown, I think that is going to be a really, really good attack for Rory Mcdonald in the fight, which could lead to a lot of takedowns and double leg takedowns from Rory Mcdonald in the fight. I think overall, in the clinch, in the striking game, in the grappling game, wherever you look at the fight, I think Rory Mcdonald will have the advantage. I think in this fight, he will play more of a wrestling and grappling based game plan, and go for 3, 4, maybe even 5 takedowns in the fight, and ultimately win the fight by 30-27 unanimous decision. The main way I see Curtis Molina winning the fight would be to defend all of the takedowns and not to accept the clinch situations with Rory Mcdonald. Keep the fight at range, use his height, and use his reach to win the fight by decision. But it's going to be really hard to use that height and reach when you got a guy like Rory Mcdonald just pressuring you the whole entire fight, getting you to the clinch and taking it down over and over and over again. So for those reasons, I am 100% going to be going with Rory Mcdonald to go out there and get 4, maybe 5 takedowns in the fight and down in the fight, in the grappling, in the wrestling, in the striking, wherever you look at the fight. I have Rory Mcdonald winning the fight. So overall, I think it's very likely he gets a knockout, very likely he gets a TKO, and very likely he gets a submission. But overall, I think the fight will go all the way, and Rory Mcdonald will win the fight by 30-27 in a dominant unanimous decision win in the main event, PFL Week 2, the regular season in 2021. Should be a really, really good main event right there, but 100% going Rory Mcdonald in the main event right there.